All right, and we're back. Welcome to another episode of the We Love Gaming podcast. I'm Godly Sovereign.
Hey guys, it's Mark Araya here.
What's up? This is Ray, aka Sir Knight.
And we got a couple things to talk about, so let's jump right into them. First things first.
Ghost of Tsushima, man. We got lots of games coming out this month.
Yeah, it's about 3 solid games that's coming out this month.
This is week, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got more
this
this
week,
month,
yeah,
but this
that's the
week,
one.
like literally this Friday.
Yeah, so we got Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep.
We got Paper Mario. And then what was the last one?
Destroy All Humans, I believe, comes out
Destroy
this
Is
All
that one on the
Humans.
28th or the 17th?
That one,
I think that one's a little bit later.
is it the 28th?
Yeah, it's 28th.
Oh, okay, I thought it was this week. Maybe I could be mistaken.
So yeah, so the 2 big ones are Paper Mario and Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay. Yeah, both exclusives, right? For
Right,
Xbox
right.
fanboys, man. Ain't got nothing cool this week.
Man, they're hurting.
Yeah, but
so-
let's open up right with that Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
start
they
with
showed a
us.
video about that a few weeks ago, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it. And since it's coming out this week, we should probably, dig into it because it's really awesome.
Right,
Def-
right. There was some
definitely.
good gameplay shown and whatnot. So I think it was like a cool 15 minutes or something like that of gameplay.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, everybody was posting like last week that they got their pre-copies of Ghost of Tsushima. So it was there's mad
review
people trying to
copies,
flex
right? Yeah.
on Twitter, and talk
Yeah.
about what they had and everything.
Like Ghost of Tsushima, it's made by Sucker Punch.
Yep.
Right.
So they made Infamous, right?
They made
Infamous,
Infamous. So we
which is a
haven't
great
seen
game.
them since Infamous Second Son, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like there was something small that they did. Has
Nah.
it really been that long?
because that's what I put that on my notes, right? Like 2014 was the last time we saw them make something.
Dang.
So
Dang,
they've been
man.
spending like 5-6 years on this game.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know, like, does that, is that a good sign, a bad sign? Does that give it too much expectation, or what do you think?
I think that's a good sign if they've literally dedicated the entire production
Right,
unit
the whole
to
team.
this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think that's great because it's not like we're getting, a cyberpunk, CD Project Red type thing where
Right.
they're kind of having to push it back. Like they seem like they're ready. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's no slight to CD Project Red, but they're working on other titles
Yeah.
that maybe they didn't have like their whole squad. You know what I mean? So they weren't able to fulfill everything.
I
quickly.
think they have been dedicating all their time to this one game because it looks that good.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. I think that they've been doing a lot of production on this for the past couple years. I don't think it's a bad thing, that they took a while.
I was gonna ask you, Mark. Like, do you care? You probably like when they take a long time, huh? On a game.
I mean, I'm used to Blizzard games, so
Yeah.
when it's done, it's done. I really liked Infamous. What was the second
Second
Infamous?
Son.
The second
Yeah,
Son.
it's Infamous Second
But
Son.
wasn't there a little?
There's one after that. It was Flash. First Light.
First Light.
Yeah.
That was a DLC content.
That was the
Yeah.
one with the
Yeah,
female,
the female
that
infamous
was in the
character.
story
Yeah.
for the second son.
So I really liked both of those games.
I never
Uh,
played First Light.
I
It,
didn't.
it was good. It was good.
because
It
it
was
was
a
a DLC,
standalone.
so
It
just
was
a
a-
few hours. Like I don't
yeah.
know, but
It was a DLC, but it was
it
also
looked
a
cool.
standalone.
Yeah, but it was like a short one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually played that one first because it was free on
Hmm.
PlayStation Plus. I
Oh,
liked
really?
it so
I
much.
never got a chance.
I liked it so
Wow.
much that I
I
got
downloaded
Infamous.
it, but I never.
So-
I never got a
played it.
chance. That's a
I
bummer. I
never
wish I
did,
would have
yeah,
played
there's
it.
too many
I
things
love
going
Second
on.
Son. I mean, I beat the, she just does a lot of that game.
Right.
But anyway, so like, what are your first impressions, Stone, on this game?
Man, like where do I start? It's just, it looks beautiful. It looks like they've invested a lot of time to make it look next gen, even though it's on the current gen.
That's true. That's a
platform.
great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of aspects that I see that they probably might have snatched from other, high known
Oh, yeah.
AAA titles.
For sure, dude.
Like I've seen a little Far Cry resemblance in there. I've seen a
Yep.
lot of Assassin's Creed resemblance in there.
Yep.
So I can only, I love both of those games, so I can only be even more excited,
Right.
because of how, what they've taken and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, the world looks lush and green. It looks like everything is pretty vibrant and responds to you, when you go through like a big, field of grass or whatever, stuff's moving out of your way.
It's like
you
a
know what I
real
mean?
breathing world, right?
Yeah, you know.
Mhm.
And I think one of the aspects that they use for your arrow for your direction to go is like the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's incorporating it in there as well. So
Right.
I don't know. It looks lovely to me. Like I just can't wait to dive in.
Yeah,
Where you at, Mark?
I agree that at first glance the game looks incredible. The landscapes, just it looks like it could potentially be next gen.
Yeah.
When I was looking at when I was looking at The Last of Us, I thought that was probably one of the best games.
Yeah,
graphically.
we were talking about that, right?
But I think this game,
I don't know.
It's close.
I don't know.
In my opinion. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah.
One thing too, I wondered, was this based on real events? It takes place in 1274, and it is fictional. I looked it up to see it was based on real events.
But it's based on,
but it's
the way it was then.
It's based on that time period.
Right.
They try to do
so it's historically accurate,
historically,
but not historically factual.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
Correct. The storyline is fictional, but it's takes place during that time period.
Right.
So the game looks incredible. I know we're gonna break down each segment, but at first glance, when I watched the trailer and the gameplay, I just wanted more of this game.
Yeah, I'm on both y'all. Like, it looked great.
Yeah.
And like the shot they gave of him looking out over the landscape, it looked enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Like the world looked enormous,
massive.
Dude. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hop and explore that whole world.
Yeah.
There's so many sweet things they did. Like the way, like they definitely they focused on making the environment tell you what to do rather than arrows and dots.
Kind of like its own story, right?
We're so used to like arrows and dots directing us around.
Yeah.
Now like we actually have to look at that fire pyre, I'm gonna go that direction. And then I'm going to click on it and I'm going to have the wind direct me there rather than like arrows and like a shimmer of line. Like they don't take away from the world. They make the world lead you rather than adding artificial things into the world.
Right.
I like that.
Immersing you more into the world. Like my first thought when I saw this was it was The Witcher meets Assassin's Creed. Like I just kept thinking Witcher like so much as I watched it. Like the graphics seemed really similar to me. Like the way you played when you went into an area, you come across random dudes on the side of the road, telling you to stay away or asking you for help, or something like that. And you hop on and you help them, like, yeah, my first, and then Assassin's Creed, of course, because, you're the ghost, right?
Yeah.
So like definitely had Assassin's Creed vibes. And then I didn't think Far Cry, but you're right. I thought Far Cry, that makes a lot of sense. Like now that you mention it.
Yeah. I mean, when you're going to these outposts and you're sitting here trying to tackle it, by either killing everybody that's in there, wreaking some type of havoc in there, as the ghost or whatnot, or just trying to get to the main objective, which is probably some general or something like that in there that you incapacitate, and then the rest of your guys just move in and take over. So that just gave me Far Cry aspects, like
absolutely, man. Like feudal Japan is just super exciting. Like, man, I'm a huge fan of Japan. I know I've always wanted to go there.
Right.
So like that's just super exciting that it's set in feudal Japan, which is how sick is that?
I mean, I've been to Japan,
like,
but I would love to like actually explore it.
Like, to be honest, like I'm kind of like more excited for this game I think than I was for Sekiro, and I love from Software.
Wow.
But this game, I like the open world. You get to explore actual feudal Japan rather than like linear processes.
Yeah.
And the music was just stunning to me. Like I remember when I first started watching that trailer and the music, I was like, dude, this is just like immersive, like taking me to Japan. I couldn't wait.
It felt like an old school, like, Japanese samurai movie or something like that.
Right. And they were going for that. Like, because they mentioned that in their thing. So, I mean,
that's like their forte.
I mean, I guess we can move on and talk a little bit about the combat. Like, Mark, where are you at on that?
So the combat, I like that. What's the term when he puts the ghost, when he puts the mask on?
You have Ghost and you have Samurai mode.
Yeah. So right? I like
Jin the Ghost and Jin the Samurai.
Yep. So I like the contrast of the two types. So you got like the honorable samurai. You can bow to your enemy.
Yeah.
I like that. Then
the honorable samurai.
So it's like the honorable side, and I like how you can switch it up. Depending on the situation. If you don't want to run into these three dudes head on, bow into them, making it a long affair, you can just put the mask on, throw some kunai, do whatever you got to do. You sneak up on them.
So what do you prefer then? What's your choice?
It's situational for me.
It's a mixed bag, man.
Okay.
Mixed bag.
For me, it depends on the situation.
I
What
got
tool
you.
do I need for the job?
Okay, interesting
So
take.
I wouldn't play it like, all right, I'm role playing. I'm only gonna be the samurai unless the game tells me I need to. So I'm gonna play.
What you feel
whatever
like
the world
presents to you.
Presents to me. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
One thing though too, I wanted to say what you were saying earlier about like I like how everything's kind of minimal, like the UI.
Yes.
Like, and that helps with immersion too, because you don't have all these other elements in the game. Yeah, I don't like
pulling you away from the immersion.
It's just
distracting you from it.
It's just so simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I do love that. So going back to the combat too, there's no combat numbers or nothing like that, which I think in a game like this we don't want that.
Right.
Nah, you don't need that.
You want insta kills or like one cut kill somebody. I don't need to see numbers for that, right?
Now, do you want to see health bars?
No.
That's a good point.
Probably because sometimes,
not,
like
but
when you're
I don't
working
know.
on
That's
an
a tough.
enemy that's
a
big,
tough question.
you don't know how many hits you like need. Like, so you're like, do I back up and heal
but
up?
But
or do I just
Assassin's Creed doesn't have health bars, right?
Does it?
I can recall.
Like you could just insta kill a boss. Like you don't need a health bar for that. Like a certain assassin target, you could just insta kill.
Yeah.
If you get their attention, you gotta fight them a bit. But
right.
So I think I'm with Mark. I think no health bars at all. It just feels more normal.
Yeah.
And like what makes sense thematically. Right?
I got you.
Yeah.
So I say the combat looks really fluid. It looks really crisp and clean.
Mm-hmm.
For The Witcher, when I played it again, I didn't think the combat was that fluid. But this game, the combat looks really fun, clean. So I'm hoping the combat feels as good as it looks in the gameplay we saw.
There's a finesse to the combat.
Yes,
right?
there is a finesse to this. One thing too, when he was doing an assassination, it was like he did a chain of them. He assassinated one guy, he assassinated another guy. So
Yeah.
So I like the flow of that. So I'm really hyped about the combat.
Yeah.
What do you think, Marcus, about the combat?
I mean, just like you guys were saying, like, the combat is purposeful. At least what they showed. It seems like you don't just button mash to be able to eliminate your
counter,
enemy.
right?
It's a counter. It's a counter game.
You wait for the dodge. You wait for the move. Yeah.
That reminds me of like Sekiro. That also, reminds me a little bit of like Dark Souls in a sense, because you had to properly time your hits and when you wanted to attack, if you wanted to do like max damage and whatnot. But the combat, it looks really great. Like I said, to sit there and wait for somebody to come at you with a sword swipe, and then you just dodge real quick, and then just like a slash and take an arm off or something like that. That's like wicked. Like,
dude, these guys,
Like, the only thing that I could be possibly disappointed with, right, is that there's not a VR version coming out for this like right away, because could you imagine putting on your VR headset and you look down at the grass to see the direction of the wind blowing and like, okay, that's my next destination. Or just like when you make your cut, you waited and timed it precisely and you lop his arm off as he's coming at you, like it would be wicked. But
you love that VR, man.
Yeah,
it's too intensive for VR though, right? I think it might be too graphically intensive for VR, maybe.
Oh, definitely now, because all of the VR games are pretty much trash as far as like graphics are concerned. But I mean, there's some beautiful ones in there, but if they're beautiful, there's no gameplay.
Right.
So it's like one hand. But the gameplay looks great. I mean, the different devices he has to help him battle with combat, the different the fighting styles that you have and how fluid you can switch through them. Just like you can dismember two enemies and then switch to like water style or something like that, and then fight the next person or whatnot.
For me, there was no talent trade that I noticed. Right, so I don't know if they're gonna like in a lot of games, you can kind of like pick a path, right? Like I'm going to dump my experience or my talent into the samurai tree.
Right.
If that's the case, then I'm probably going to dump the majority of my experience, if that's the case, into the ghost tree, because, I'm all about assassin.
Right.
Like, so I'm going to approach every situation as a ghost until the situation tells me I can't.
Yeah.
Right. And then I might, fight it out. I'm going to try to kill as many dudes as I can silently, and then if the situation, gets out of hand, then I'll have to fight, samurai mode. But yeah, I definitely like the combat. It's very, a lot of finesse. It's very direct, purposeful, like Marcus was saying. You're waiting for the guy to attack. He dies. You spin around. You slash him down. He's dead. I like that. If you get the right dodge or parry or whatever it is, you one shot him. Like I like games that do that.
Mm-hmm.
It encourages you to get better at the game. But yeah, the combat looked a lot like a lot of fun. Super excited for it. The traversing was all right. You'd have like the little rope, that you could throw your little hook onto and swing.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes those little obvious things in the world pull away from the immersion for me.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, come
here.
here.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
here.
obviously I can throw there, right? It takes a little bit of that immersion away from me when I see things like that. So I guess that's the slight knock, to it.
Yeah.
So I was a little lazy. Or like when you're riding through the world and you see a branch flickering.
Right,
and you go and you
like
snag
a little
it.
Shimmer or
yeah,
something.
there's those little things that drop the immersion. Like they did so much work to try to keep you in the immersion, and then they have those little things that drop the immersion that feel slightly lazy. I don't know. I don't want to do that because I spent 6 years playing this game. But there's those things that just feel like little shortcuts.
Yeah. At the same time, though, how could you even know that? Oh, like that branch is pickable, or like that's an herb that I could grab if you've never grabbed it before.
Right.
Like how would you get your initial?
Maybe like a button. Maybe you press a button and like it sends like a sense wave out, and you kind of like. Because if you were like a real samurai in real life, maybe you can like sit and just kind of look and like get a feel for it rather than like pulling you out of the immersion every time it's always blinking, something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's true.
So like a little, like a.
I'm not a game developer. All I'm saying is, those are the things that I've noticed that kind of take you out of the immersion.
So you're okay with like a minimal, like partial time, like grab or whatever, like a little shimmer. That's like a short time one.
Yeah, like if it's something that I'm focusing on doing. Like if my character's like focusing on trying to find, plants, and I just like, a little shockwave or something that goes out, that kind of gives me. And they could have been as creative as they want with that. I don't know how that would look, how they would keep that immersive. But just a way that, you kind of activate it rather than it always be there, pulling you out of the immersion.
Yeah.
It's just my thoughts. Like just trying to be a little bit more creative of ways of without pulling you out of the immersion. Like.
Can we hold on a second?
Yeah.
Can you grab that mouse that's over there on the floor? Because I don't know if the computer went to sleep.
That's weird. It would go to sleep while it's recording.
Yeah. I just don't know if it has. But grab it for me.
Just keep it over here.
Yeah. Does it still say it's recording?
I can't see. Yeah, I see numbers next to the record button.
That little small button that's right here. Okay. All right. I just wasn't sure. I was like, it was screenshot now.
But yeah, so, going on from that point of view, from combat, being either the ghost or the samurai, it seems like there's lots of customizable options, in those directions of where you want to go. What are your thoughts, Mark, on the customization options in this game?
So first, I like that you can like find plants and things in the environment to dye your armor.
Oh yeah.
So that's really cool. I like that. That's realistic, and I'm sure during this time, that took place. I like that your armor and your equipment visually has an identity. So when you get a new piece of armor,
it looks like you got a new piece.
Like you got a new piece of armor. I don't like when games you're just this avatar the whole game, and you're getting new weapons and equipment, but you still look the same. So I like that,
My first thought was, oh, Mark's gonna like this because you always comment on customization. You want to collect gear and collect.
I want to collect things. I want to collect dye. I want to, I just want to look different. So I really am glad that this game, took that approach. So what do you think about the customization, Marcus?
I mean, just like Mark, like that makes it worthwhile gear hunting. You know what I mean? Like when you get drops, and
I want to find every plant.
Yeah, like I want to do some damage and I want to look good. So, let me find the most wickedest looking gear that fits my ghost persona.
And
or
you pick your
whatever.
colorways.
Yeah, and then you can
Yeah.
eventually change it. Like, oh, this gear is white, but I ain't trying to be white. I'm trying to be midnight black, so I can
Right.
fit in with like the darkest of the areas or whatnot. But yeah, so I mean the different gear that looks great, and I mean there's got to be some kind of customization as far as like there's got to be some type of a talent tree,
Yeah, some
right?
sort
But
of
it's got to be like
progression.
minimalistic or something, right?
It's gotta be.
you're putting
Yeah,
you're
there's
putting
gotta
something
be.
into going the way of the ghost.
I'm surprised they didn't
or the
show it,
samurai.
but there's
They
gotta
probably
be
want to
something.
they probably want to just keep it,
Goes to the chest, yeah.
yeah, until you play it. And by Thursday, I'm sure we're gonna see like the floodgates open with like all kinds of videos on skill tree and what you need to have first when you start, whatever. But yeah,
well, yeah, I mean, I could see that. It seems like they just wanted to show their game off.
Mhm.
Like they're just proud of it. Like,
Yeah.
look at my game. Just look how beautiful it is. Look how nice it is. It seemed like that was more what the showcase was,
Right.
rather than a deep dive into like every aspect of the game. It was just like,
Exactly.
look at how pretty our game is.
Right.
Like, I like on the customization, the dyes. I like how vibrant it is. Like the colors are just so,
Yeah.
they're
They
just
pop.
like pop. Yeah, they
Yeah.
pop. The colors pop. It's like, wow, that's a bright white, or wow, that's a bright red. Like that's it's really colorful. It's not dark or drab. And the clothing, like it fits the era, like the Raiden hat or
Yeah.
the samurai hat. I want one of those, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then being able to color your guy to fit your play style, right? Like you're saying, like if I'm gonna go with the ghost, I'm gonna want to color my guy black, even if it doesn't have any effect on the gameplay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my guy.
It's just gonna
it
visually
just
be more
visually
logical.
makes it more immersive,
Yeah.
right? Like it makes me feel like I'm an assassin, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
if I'm wearing bright red, which that's what I would go for.
That wouldn't
like,
work
am I
in real
really
life,
gonna be
right?
assassinating
Yeah.
people in this green
Can I
lush
hide
area
in
or
this?
what?
I can't hide with this color on me, right?
Right.
But it probably wouldn't make a difference gameplay wise. They probably wouldn't let it affect it. But
Yeah.
to
I'm gonna
immerse
test it
me,
out
I'm
and
gonna go
see.
black, or I'm gonna
Yeah.
go all straight, jet black, and I'm gonna be dark as night.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hide in every
Right,
shadow
right.
and every nook.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing is the katanas, man. The swords. Like, I want to see like
They didn't really go into
customization
that,
with the
huh?
swords. I mean, they didn't talk about that, so I'm just hoping that Jin doesn't have the same sword the entire time. I would want him to upgrade his
Yeah.
sword, but if not, I mean, I understand, a samurai sword. Like, if you got an exquisite sword made from the beginning, you wouldn't need anything else.
Just like
But-
Sekiro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like one of those things. Like, if I'm customizing all of my armor, I'm wearing face masks that I can customize. I'm wearing hats. I can probably shave or something like that. Like, I want to customize my damn sword. So if
Yeah,
that means
for
that
sure.
all I can do is change the hilt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. Like, just give me something, man.
Yeah.
I want
They probably will. It might not be that extensive, but hopefully, because that's one of the coolest parts, your sword, right?
Yeah, I think when I was looking at the gameplay introduction thing, they were showing like the different types of armor and stuff like that. And if I recall correctly, I think I saw the looks of the katanas that he had change, whether it was in color.
Oh,
but
when
it
they were
changed,
flicking
yeah,
through
when
each
they were changing
customization,
through
you saw the
different
katana
armors and
changing.
stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
I know I saw positions change as to
Right.
where they were held, but
Right, or doubles or singles, right? Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's something that I'll definitely be trying to explore, because I want different swords. Like
Yeah,
I
for
want
sure.
I want to, even if we're not talking about like, oh, this sword drops and it's only 2 damage, and you got this sword that drops and it's like 36 damage or whatever. I'm not looking for that per se,
Right.
but I just want him to like kill somebody badass and then like reach down, grab their sword, and he's like, damn, this is good. Toss his old sword.
That's a really good
slide his
question.
new sword into the
I don't
sheath,
know if I don't know, Mark. Do you want legendary gear? Like you're hunting for legendary gear, or do you just kind of want that static? I have my samurai sword, and it's more about the gameplay, not the gear.
I would say for this game, I would just want to hunt for armor. As far as swords, I'm fine with keeping my sword throughout the game. Yeah.
Would it be cool to have like a sword, like with a sweet affix or whatever, like it lights people on fire, or
I
just,
think that would take
little
out of the
little
immersion of
legendary
the game.
affixes. So it takes away from the immersion. You don't want that.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
seem more like it's
I think
real
like in
life. It would seem like
1274 when this
something
game
else.
takes place, Your steel blade is as good as it
well,
gets.
say,
You don't have any emulators on there.
Same with Assassin's Creed though, right? Like in the Egyptian times, that's just as old or older than this time period. And you had the legendary gear you were hunting for in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That game wasn't trying to be immersive though, like this game is. So I don't know. I don't know the right answer. I think either way I'd be happy. But it's always fun, right? To hunt for those dope legendary pieces,
Yeah.
Or
trying to find them.
Add a
That's
little
always
Last of
fun,
Us aspect where you can, upgrade your sword.
Or
you
upgrade
can
your sword.
Add
yeah.
a little liquid fire on there or something.
Yeah,
You
little
something that you
Bioshock,
hit, or
Yeah.
strike it with like a smooth
Yeah.
stone and, it bursts into flames because the oil you can put in.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
pulls
That'd
up
be
and light them
cool,
up,
right?
That would
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah,
Just
but
a
like the
little
last thing on this game, we love this game obviously, but we still have to wonder. I know we're all anime watchers here. Is the Japanese language something you would turn on and use, or would you keep it in English?
I think for the second gameplay, like the second playthrough, I'd probably turn on the Japanese
try in
and then
that
maybe
mode.
try like in black and white.
That movie
something.
mode, yeah.
But I would just keep it in English just so I can be able to get the story and observe it
Right.
without having to look at the words on the screen. I want to check out everything else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I want to visualize everything. I want to be able to see everything that's going on, and then later on, I'll
Right.
turn on the Japanese.
Picture mode, is that something you'd use?
I've never really used picture mode too much. I mean,
used them.
I attempted to use picture mode in Last of Us 2 to like take pictures of the PlayStations, but after a while I was like, I seen it. You know what I mean? It's not anything big.
Where do you fall, Mark?
I think it's cool that you can turn on, the Japanese language in the game. I think that adds to more immersion. So I would try it out, with subtitles and see how I feel.
Yeah.
So I really like that you have that option. As far as the picture mode that they have, I think it's really cool that you can hide the UI. You can increase elements like wind, and you can
that's true.
do 360. Let's say you're fighting a boss and you're about to,
Cut his head off or something?
decapitate them.
him?
And you
Click
pause
your
it for a
button,
second,
yeah.
increase the wind. You have your armor flowing right before you're about to cut their head off, and then you push play and you cut them. I don't know. I think it could.
Yeah.
It could.
It definitely will make some sick like gifs and like
Yeah,
visuals
you're
that
gonna
you
see
can
a lot
just
of
drop
that, huh?
I
out
think
of
things
it.
like this would be cool to record those clips and have save these screenshots. Because I feel like screenshots are something we did back in the day. But I feel like screenshots now, people don't really take screenshots of their gameplay,
I'm guilty of that.
So I think
Yeah.
this, let's say you got a cool set of armor, you just took out your first boss. I think it's cool you can hype yourself up, and take a cool picture. So I think it's personally cool that they added such a thing to this game.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you want to feel like Tanjiro when you go to slice the head off?
He's Tanjiro.
From Demon Slayer.
I haven't seen Slayers
yeah,
yet. Yeah, so
So
you recommended
it's like
that.
the when he does like his water breathing technique.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's like water that's flowing from his blade and stuff.
That's cool. I'm still trying to get through that Rise of the Shield Hero,
Oh yeah, that's a good
which
one.
I've been liking.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the photo mode. So many of these games add a photo mode in, and I've never used it. Maybe I fooled around with it a little bit in like, what was it, like Spider-Man?
Okay.
Like a little
Yeah,
bit
run
when like
swinging
I
and
went to
catch
like
something.
the top of Empire State Building and allowed to take a picture or whatever.
That's
Like I did a little bit of that.
Give
in
yourself
that
a
game.
selfie.
Yeah, give myself a selfie. This game takes it to another level. Like Mark is saying, you could increase the weather effect. So that's dope. That's really cool. Maybe I would dabble. My personal preferences. I don't know how much time the dev team spent on this, but I would have rather have them have spent the time elsewhere, improving something else rather than taking the time to incorporate a photo mode. I don't know. I think they're really proud of their game. I think they think it's gorgeous and they think it's beautiful. They're really proud of it, and they want to be able to,
Showcase that.
yeah, make memories of it and have a ways to, solidify their work of art. I get it, but I would have rather the manpower gone to something else. But maybe it was easy for them to do. I don't know. But I might dabble, but not use.
Right.
Unless Mark, I see Mark popping out some dope gifts. And I'm like, oh, shoot, man, I got to try now. You might get me excited. But as it stands right now, I'm probably not going to be using the photo mode too much. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, man. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. This week.
So,
Day
yeah,
one for me. That's a day one.
Yeah, so for all of us, this is last time we did day one buy, wait.
Yeah.
day one buy.
Okay.
This is a day one
it's
for
quite
all
clear.
of us. Yeah,
Day
we would
one.
rate this as a
Day
day
one.
one,
Day one,
for
guys.
sure. I think without a doubt, right? I mean, it's
If
and
I
you,
can,
and you
9 o'clock, you know.
day, yeah,
Yeah.
first hour, right?
Right.
Yeah, not just day one, but hour one. I mean, and you can see the last time we did these reviews, not too many games were day one buys, but this is
Right.
definitely a day one buy.